What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Armando's house. ¿Qué pasó? There's a lot of things going on at Armando's house, and we talk about it all here. Today, we are going to be talking about what's happening in Australia and what's happening specifically in Melbourne, Australia, and over this lockdown period. So, Australia has been in the news a lot lately, especially in the US. You see it on Fox News or on CNN, all the things that are happening in Australia. And as someone that lives in Australia and lives in Melbourne, I thought I'd just share for my American friends what it's like actually living here, because you see a lot of things in the news and it sounds like doom and gloom, but it's just different. And I think we're all kind of dealing with different aspects of it. And I think, as someone said it so rightly, we're not all in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm. And we're feeling it very differently down here where we live. So what's going on down here? We are on, I don't know, maybe day 240 over the last year of being in lockdown. And this is our sixth lockdown here in Melbourne. And to give you an idea what a lockdown is, because I think depending on where you are or you're at in the world, lockdowns mean different things. Lockdown in this lovely state means the following. One, largely, you can't go more than 5 kilometers from your house. Just about everything is closed. Like restaurants are closed, gyms are closed, movies are closed, all that stuff. That's not any different from any other places lockdowns. But the kids can't go to school. Kids are homeschooled largely and have been online. And I think more than anything else, just the level of restrictions and controls that are happening here. Obviously, there's all that, but there's also borders are closed. And what I mean by borders, you can't fly in and out of the country. You need to get special permission to fly in and out of the country. You can't go to neighboring states. So the state borders have closed as well. So if we want to travel right now to, let's say, New South Wales or Queensland or any of their states, the borders are closed. You've got to get a special permit. And there are ways around it, but largely you've got to provide documentation so to do that. And so what all of that means is a lot of the personal freedoms that we are used to having have been stripped away, or at least temporarily paused, while the government gets control of the virus and the outbreak. Now, there are a lot of different views. Is it, some people feel like this is absolutely the right thing to do because it's the only way to control the virus, and the only way to control the only way to control a virus is to control the movement of people, right? And until people get vaccinated, we can't really have people moving around because of the implications of society. The other view is, hey, give me my freedom, which has largely been the U.S. view. Give me my freedom and give me the ability to move, and then I'll make my own choice. There have been lockdowns, and I understand there's vaccine passports to a certain degree, and I was just on the phone with someone in New York that said, hey, they've got to show their ID everywhere they go, and that might be fine there. I think here that's coming as well. In Australia, where I'm sure we'll have to have vaccine passports, and I'm not going to comment whether I'm pro or against. I'm just kind of sharing the reality of what's happening here. And I think every part of the world, depending on where you're coming from, you've all had your own personal challenges. In Australia, I think what I've seen so far is the government is very, very involved in making decisions for people's freedoms, right? And what they can and can't do, what they should or shouldn't be doing. And depending on whether you think it's the right thing for society or not, you're going to be, pretty impacted. And so I always feel like you should give each individual the ability to make their own choice, inform them, and have them take on their own personal risk. But here it's been a little different. We've been a little bubble. Maybe at the end it'll be the right strategy in that, we'll end up being safer, right? But we've paid a pretty significant price here, and we're still paying that price. And so, knock on wood, I don't know anybody in Australia that's actually contracted the virus. I have a lot of friends and family in the States that have. So from that perspective, we haven't contracted the virus. That said, we definitely have had a significant impact to our freedoms. And depending on where you sit on the spectrum, that might be fine. But when you want to get out and you want to travel, you want to go see things, and you can't because there are restrictions, it is painful. And it's a painful reminder every day. It's not, it's not lost on me that this is a very challenging time for our leadership to make the hard call. But every day that goes by, I feel more and more that as a society we're being impacted. So, long story short, in Australia, I think we are going through our challenges, a little bit different from other parts of the world, and I'm hopeful that in the next few months we can return to a sense of normalcy. But I just thought I'd share what's happening here with the types of restrictions that we have in place. And again, that might be the same as where you're from, or they might be different, but we do have significant restrictions and movement. So anyways, would love to hear how you're doing with this whole experience, where you're at in different parts of the world. I know in certain parts of Europe, you're pretty free. Here, we're not free, at least not yet. And it's kind of painful to see a lot of those freedoms being put on hold. And so anyways, please share your thoughts in the comment section. We'd love to hear them. Please subscribe to the channel. We're kind of early on here building this out, and we will be building out more content as we go on. But please do subscribe, like this video if you're into it. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.